Dating Philippine Army Scout Ranger, Captain Clemente Dado Enrique Jr. nagsalita na.
Wag niyong sasaktan yan. Wag niyong sasaktan yan. Kasi papayin namin kayong lahat. Uubusin namin kayo. Yan ang threat sa presidente. Subukin nyo kami ngayon. And if we have to draw the line, we will draw the line. Magpatayan tayo kung gusto ninyo.
Nagbigay ng babala ang batikang TV host, radio broadcaster at newspaper columnist na si Ramon Montulfo na dapat bantayan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ang Vice Presidential Security Group bilang isang posibleng banta sa kanyang seguridad, pati na rin sa kaligtasan ng First Lady Liza Marcos at Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ayon kay Montulfo, ang VPSG na itinatag para kay Vice President Sara Duterte ay tila ginagamit hindi lamang para sa karaniwang seguridad ng pangalawang Pangulo, kundi para palakasin ang kanyang personal na proteksyon na lampas sa karaniwang pangangailangan. Binatikos din niya ang umano'y paggamit ng confidential at intelligence fund ni VP Sara upang tiyakin ang katapatan ng kanyang security personnel. Pinuna ni Montulfo na hindi kailangang magkaroon ng napakalaking seguridad ang isang vice-presidente dahil ang mga naunang nanungkulan sa posisyon ay nakontento sa mas simpleng proteksyon. Ang usapin ay nagdulot ng masusing pagsusuri sa paggamit ng pondo at ang saklaw ng kapangyarihan ng VPSG. Ayon sa Facebook post ni Montulfo, kung gusto ni BBM malaman ang panggagalingan ng assassin na papatay sa kanya, kay Liza Araneta Marcos at kay Speaker Martin Romualdez, he should take a look at the Vice Presidential Security Group or VPSG. Tinatag ni Sara Duterte ang VPSG bilang isa sa mga accommodations ni BBM sa kanya dahil sa pagkapanalo niya sanhi ng pagtandem niya kay Sara noong nakaraang eleksyon. Di naman kailangan ni Sara ng napakaraming security dahil yung mga nauna sa kanya, sina Leni Robredo at Noli De Castro, ay kakaunti ang security contingent. Aanhin naman ni Sara kasi ang 400 plus na security na spare tire lang naman siya. Winaldas ni Sara ang kanyang confidential and intelligence fund sa kanyang mga security to buy their loyalty. Ganoon ang mga Duterte. They spoil their bodyguards para susunod sa mga utos nila kahit mali. Ang solusyon, buwagin ang VPSG at ibalik ang mga miyembro nito sa kanilang mother units.
Yung statement ni Inday, minura-mura ang presidente, minura-mura tapos gigil na yung tao. Ano ninyo, kayo, BBM, manggagamit ka talaga Okay. Gago ka talaga Oh, presidente ng Pilipinas, gago ka Tado ka napakawalang niya mo Sa totoo lang. Sa mga maka-BBM, sorry pero gago talaga yung BBM na yan Kita ninyo ang dami problema ng Pilipinas. Hindi siya nagpapakita. Biglang minura siya ni Inday. Biglang lumabas ang Tapos sabi niya, hindi niya papalakpasin yan. Hindi mo palalakpasin. Ito ka pala Ikaw nga ang dahilan ng lahat ng ito Mapadrug test ka na muna. Padrug test ka. Kaya nagkahagan ito yung bansa dahil sa iyo Binoto ka namin. Pagmamalaki mo pa yung boto mo. Mahalaki yung boto mo. Paano yung boto ng isa? Boto ng Vice President mo, mas marami yung boto yon. Sorry, mga kapitbahay ko, Kainit ng ulo, kaya ayoko mag-vlog Umiinit ang ulo ko Magsasalita ka, hindi mo palalakpasin. Pinalakpas mo yung baha. Ang daming namatay. Pinalakpas mo yung kongreso mong magnanakaw. Pinalakpas mo yung komunista dyan sa kongreso. Convicted na. Nagko-contempt ng mga inosenteng tao. Sorry. Gigil ako Ngayon kalilitaw, tatapang-tapangan ka, gago. Ipapakita mo pa, presidential ka. Mali ka ng sinabi. Mali. Ang dapat sinabi mo, kung may threat sa'yo, Inday, huwag ka mag-alala, babantayan ka namin. I am ordering the armed forces as your commander-in-chief ng PNP. I'm ordering you to make sure that nothing happens to the Vice President. Tapos, ikaw babanata mo, kakasuhan mo. Presidenteng ewan ka talaga. Tungang. What you are creating is divisiveness in the country. You are placing the country in the verge of civil war. Kayong mga nasa Kongreso, isa pa kayo, buko kayo. Okay, sasamahin kayo lahat sa akin eh. Ang ano na to, no? Tanin niyo yung nagtatalong politika. Nagtatalo yung politika. Kaya nga mini-maintain ko FGF sa gitna tayo. Parang di tayo mawala eh. Parang di tayo mawala. Hanggang walang hudyat, mga ka-FGF, we want to be in the cooler side na nag-iisip, no? Mga Pilipino na nag-iisip. Kasi pagka sumausaw ka dyan, mawala ka eh. Galit na eh. Galit. Ako galit na galit ako pero kinokontrol ko. Kung nadidinig yung usapan namin ni Bukay, ni Commander Metran, galit na galit ako. Kung nadidinig din yung usapan ko sa ibang commander, galit na galit ako. Natatawa nga sila eh. Gigil na gigil ako eh. Pero kinokontrol. Kinokontrol namin yung galit namin. That's courage. Courage is not just plain na tapang. That's stupidity. Plain tapang, that's stupidity. The courage is the ability to control yourself, control your fear, control everything, and perform the mission. That's courage. Yung you do the right things, yung properly, hindi yung ganyan na, ayan na. Magano na, magkalsada na tayo. Magkakalsada ka, bakit galit ba kayo sa EDSA? Galit kayo sa EDSA. Galit kayo kay Mama Mary. Doon kayo magano, doon nyo dinay-direct yung tao. EDSA. Ba't hindi sa Kongreso? Doon kayo galit eh. Yun yung tanong ko eh. Bakit hindi sa Kongreso? No. Ba't hindi sa Kongreso? Nandun yung ano eh. Tapos doon, veterans, punta kayo, support kay ano, kay Inday. Doon kayo magsalita-salita. Ang puta. O sige, veterans. Because you are thinking na ang focal point mo is yung personalities eh. Why not make the focal point yung issue at hand? Yung issue. Nakakalimutan yung issue. Bangag yung presidente. Bangag. Tapos nakawan. Yun yung issue. O nagsalita ang Duterte. Sabi ni Digong na kakusapin niya AFP. No? Kakusapin niya AFP. Tapos nun eh, inaano niya, binabalik niya doon sa mga pera-pera. Because kung lahat kayo nakikinig sa akin, doon kayo pumunta kay Marcos. Ibig sabihin ni Duterte, you demand the explanation. You demand. Itong Marcos na to, gagamitin mo ngayon yung konstitusyon. Ha? Gagamitin niyo yung konstitusyon laban doon sa kay Sara. Eh si Inday Sara nga, she's implementing the constitution. She's abiding by the constitution. Kaya kayo nandyan pa. Kaya kayo nandyan pa. Kasi hindi siya nagtatawag ng revolusyon. Hindi siya nagtatawag ng taong bayan. Sinabi ko again, Marcos and everyone na connected with Marcos, kaya kayo nandyan, kasi ang mga Duterte, whether they are hesitant or not, ay hindi pa tumatawag ng talagang totoong tao, people power. Wala. Minadinig ba kayo? Minadinig ba kayo? Lumabas na kayo sa kalsada at tapusin na natin to? Minadinig ba kayo? Ang nagtatawag lang, mga vlogger. No? Mga supporter ng vlogger. Mga nananawagan. Supporter na tayo, labas na tayo, labas na tayo. Hindi nyo nga. Kaya nga nakakainis ang Pilipinas eh. Nakakainis. Dami ko na sinabi, nawala na ako. So una kay Inday, yung statement ni Inday, ano masama doon magalit yung tao? Ko kayo eh. Nagalit yung tao, ano ngayon? Tinatarantado niya yung tao niya. She's just being a leader. Between Marcos and Inday, mas leader tong Inday kaysa sa iyo, Marcos. Ikaw, Marcos, sinabi na sa iyo, BBM, sinabi sa iyo, Ang dapat dyan, pinatigil mo yung Congress sa contempt. Anong ginawa nyo? Dinagdagan nyo pa. Dinagdagan nyo pa ng araw. Bopol. O, tapos noon, sasabihin mo pa, hindi palalagpasin. Meron pa kayong pinachichismis. Tinatakot nyo taong bayan. Uhuliin na si Inday. Ha? Huliin siya. Isasapin na sa NBI. Pinapaimbisigan. Sige, kulong nyo. Pinakamaganda dyan, kulong nyo. Kulong nyo si Inday. Hindi nyo kami matatakot. Kami mismo sa FGF, hindi nyo kami matatakot, mga kayo. Naghihintay lang yung grupo ko eh. Naghihintay lang. Tapos sa AFP, nabi ko na ba yun kay Marcos? Dapat ang sinabi mo, Marcos, huwag nyong gagalawin si Inday. Hindi mo ginaya si Duterte, no? You still respect tong NATO, kahit you still respect her because she is the vice president. She was elected by the people. Sabi ni Duterte yun kay Lenny. Ikaw, ha? Babanata mo ng hindi pwede kung kaya nilang i-threaten ng isang presidente, how much more ang malit na Pilipino. Kung kaya nilang nakawan ng ninanakawan nila yung wala talaga yung reasoning mo eh. Talaga eh. Okay, binabasa mo pa eh. Hindi galing sa puso eh. Binabasa mo eh. Saan ka nakakita? Alam mo, binaboy mo yung Office of the President eh. Hindi ganyan ang tingin ko sa Office of the President. Pati kayo, Kongreso, binaboy niyo yung Kongreso. Kayo, contempt kayo, yayabang ninyo. Mga bopol naman kayo, mga hayok na hayok kayo sa kapangyarihan eh. Okay, ang issue, mga kababayan, ang issue, ang presidente ninyo nagdodroga. Yun ang issue. Tapos, nagnanakaw ang kongreso ninyo. Yung mga politiko ninyo, nagnanakaw, kanya-kanyang nakawan. Tapos nun, ang pag-asa nila, na mawala sa pwesto, ang pag-asa ng kababayan na mawala sila sa pwesto ay si Inday Duterte. Kaya kinakailangan nilang pigain si Sara Inday. Ngayon yung ginawa ni Inday, nagsalita, no? Is she a threat to national security? Of course not! Sino nag-a-advise dyan sa presidente national threat, no? Ang threat to national security is a president na nagdodroga. That is a threat to national security. Corruption is a threat to national security. Corruption, a threat to national security. Kasi pagka nagnanakaw ka, hindi umaabot sa mga kababayan natin ang dapat na serbisyo. Hindi nabibili ng armed forces yung kanyang dapat bilhin na equipment. Therefore, mahina yung armed forces. Kaya threat to national security. Hindi nagagawa ng gobyerno yung dapat niyang gawin in terms of services, in terms of delivery ng mga dapat, basic needs. Yung food security natin, import tayo ng import. Therefore, yung pagnanakaw ng Congress is a threat to national security. Yung droga na yan is a threat to national security. Mahinayo pa kayo? Congress is a threat to national security. Yung ginagawa niyan, nandyan yung NPA. That is a threat to national security. Bopol, kayong lahat. Tapos pipilit nyo, Inday is a threat to national security. No! Inday is a threat to your political ambition, mga taong bayan. Inday Sara Duterte is a threat to your political ambition, is a threat to your activities of corruption. And we will polarize para kay Inday. Kayo. Talaga kayo, gigil na gigil ako eh. Okay. She is not a threat to national security, mga kababayan. Tandaan nyo yan. She is the hope of this country. She is the hope of this country. Tandaan nyo yan. At doon kami tayo. Wag na wag nyong sasaktan yan. Wag na wag nyong sasaktan yan. Kasi papayin namin kayong lahat. Uubusin namin kayo. Yan ang threat sa presidente. Subukan nyo kami ngayon. O kayo. The only reason kaya kayo nandyan is because yung taong bayan hindi kumikilos. Hindi, the people of the Philippines cannot get their acts together. The people of the Philippines do not know their power. All power emanates from the Filipino people. All power. All authority comes from the Filipino people. Tapos ganyan kayo? Armed Forces. Armed Forces. Sorry pero alam nyo, dapat noon pa. AFP, Browner, General Browner, Omet, at PNP, General Marbil, last call na to, last call, no? At sa mga opisyal at mga tauhan ng Sandatahang Lakas at ng Philippine National Police. Huling call na to, Noon pa dapat kayo tumayo. Noon pa. Pinagbibigyan namin kayo pinapanood namin kayo Galing kami dyan sa loob Pinagbibigyan namin kayo. Parang isang dating Pangulo na sabihin na kakausapin niya ang AFP at magbibigay ng options. Hindi nyo ba nakikita na the president, the former president is becoming excuse me, yung mga aso tumapanik the president is being desperate already. Parang kakausapin yung mga junior officer, kakausapin yung mga bakit? Hindi na makausap. It is an admittance na the president, the former president, believes na corrupted yung hierarchy ng armed forces. Kaya kinakailangan usapin ng mga junior. AFP, last call. PNP, last call. Every day na hindi kayo tumatayo para sa taong bayan, every day na hindi kayo tumatayo para sa taong bayan is a day closer to being a narco state or a communist state. Parehas, pagsamahin nyo na, narco-communist state. Every day that you tolerate, you are tolerating, every day that you are tolerating this wrongdoing in government, you are tolerating a president who is taking drugs. You are tolerating an addict president. You are tolerating a Congress na nagnanakaw, abusive of powers. You are tolerating. It means you are with them. You are not with the Filipino people. Kaya last call, armed forces. Makinig kayo sa akin. Nakaset up yung bansa natin para civil war. Kayong mga Pilipino, makinig kayo. Kayong mga madada ng mga Pilipino, makinig kayo. Panay salita-salita, panay yabang Hindi nyo ba naiisip na tayo magbabanggaan tayo lahat? Kaya AFP, PNP, pigilan nyo to. Pigilan nyo. Mawawalan kayo ng papel pagka hindi nyo ginawa yung papel ninyo. Ano yung papel ninyo? Papel ninyo ay you support and defend the Filipino people. You defend the Filipino people. You uphold the Constitution. Ang ginagawa nitong mga politikong to na tinotolerate ninyo, they are now using the Constitution. No? Binababula, ginagago kayo, ginagawa kayong tamukyo. Utusan lang kayo They are using the Constitution to quell the resistance brewing, because this resistance ang totoong Pilipino. And you are becoming an instrument of these people in government because you are tolerating them. And if we have to draw the line, we will draw the line. Magpatay tayo, gusto ninyo. But you have the power to stop this, armed forces. Because hindi kami papayag na mauwi tayo sa droga. Mauwi tayo sa nakawan ng mga congressman na yan. Hindi kami papayag. We are that close already. We are that close na mag-declare kami ng revolution. Ninyo, sabihin nyo, kami, babanatan nyo kami ng rebellion. Nyo lahat. People of the Philippines, we the sovereign Filipino people, Constitution, ito lang kayo sa ilalim. Huwag nyo kaming gaguhin, huwag nyo kaming gabitan ng konstitusyon nyo. Kami may-ari ng konstitusyon. Kami ang nagpapatupad ng konstitusyon. Kung kinakailangan naming magkaroon ng court order, kami, People's Court, aarestuhin namin lahat yan. Armed Forces, ginagago kayo ng mga gagong politiko na yan. Ginagamit kayo. And here you are, nagre-relax kayo. And yung Duterte na matanda, sinasabi, kakausapin niyo yung mga junior officer. What does that make of you? Kayong mga nasa itas, panay kayong mga walang bayag. Panay kayong mga bayaran. Yun ang dating eh. Ano na nangyari sa serbisyo? Iniwanan namin niya matino. Tapos here you are, naghahanap kayong promotion, naghihintay. Dapat kayo, ang iniisip nyo, AFP, kung paano matitigil ito. Simple, doon kayo sa tama. Ano ba yung tama? Tama ba yung nakawan? Tama ba yung may droga? You get the president to take a hair follicle test. That's the right thing to do. Huwag nyo nang hintayin ng taong bayan ang lulusob dyan sa Malacanang. Huwag nyo nang hintayin ang taong bayan ang magpapadetest. Magkakalasog-lasog yung presidente na yan. Threat to the national security, threat to the life of the president. The president is the threat to the future of this country. Ginagago nyo Pilipino. Nasaan na yung pera? AFP, kung nung pa kayo tumayo, mabebenta ba yung ginto? Mabebenta ba? Kung tumayo kayo, AFP, matatransfer ba yung 89 billion nung PhilHealth? Nasaan yung yung Marley Kapan? 250 billion. Nasaan na? Tapos magagastos ba yung budget? Hindi pa tapos ang taon, ubos na yung budget, wala nang pera. Ano gagawin natin? Ano gagawin natin? Presidente yan. O tapos magtatapang-tapangan ka ngayon, BBM.
Samantala, kumpiyansa si dating Senador Antonio Trillanes IV na mayroon itong nalikom na sapat na ebidensya laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na nahaharap sa kasong against humanity sa ICC. Sa pagdinig ng Quad Committee ng Kamara de Representantes noong Miyerkules, iprinisenta ni Trillanes ang mga ebidensya na magpapatunay umano na sangkot si Duterte sa bintahan ng iligal na droga. Ayon kay Trillanes, ang popular na DDS na dating Davao Squad na ginawa ng Duterte diehard supporters ay nangangahulugan na ngayong Duterte Syndicate. Sa interpellation ni Batangas 2nd District Congresswoman Attorney Jerville Jinky Beatrix Luistro, ibinahagi ni Trillanes ang pangunahing dahilan ng pangangalap niya ng ebidensya laban kay Duterte. Now, the whole presentation I made is not to pin down Mr. Duterte for these specific crimes because I'm determined to pin him down through the ICC. And that's all I need. It's enough to put him away for life, sabi ni Trillanes sa pagtatanong ni Batangas Representative Jerville Luistro. What I presented is to shatter that false narrative that he peddled to the Filipino people. Naggalit talaga siya sa illegal na droga. Dagdag pa ni Trillanes. Ating panoorin ang buong video.
Senator, of course it is very much apparent that the former president has this animosity against you. And he's very vocal about that even during interviews. Can you please enlighten us? Saan ho ba nagmumula itong or nag-umpisa itong animosity na ito?
Palagay ko po, dahil sa Davao ho, hindi sanay sila ng walang tumitindig sa kanya. No? So that's one. And another is, alam niya na na-decode ko na siya. So kumbaga yung all the charade, nababasa ko na po, Mr. Chairman.
So would you say that this animosity has something to do with the Senate investigation that you initiated and conducted?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And even before that, when I openly opposed him during the campaign of 2016, Mr. Chairman.
Which happened first? The campaign or the Senate investigation?
The campaign started first, Mr. Chairman.
So the first rivalry, should I say, or opposition happened because of the campaign?
Yes,
And
Chair.
then it was followed sometime thereafter by the Senate investigation on their possible involvement on dangerous drugs. Tama po ba?
Nung una po, yung Senate investigations, it's about the extrajudicial killings. Itong mga, ano po, yung involvement nila sa illegal drugs came after bumaliktad po si Mr. Las Cañas at nalaman namin yung inside story.
Please enlighten us, Senator. Anong taon po yung nagkalaban po ba kayo sa election?
Hindi po. I was supporting a different presidential candidate
I see.
in 2016.
So that was 2016.
Yes.
How about your investigation on EJK? Anong taon po ito?
2016, around July or August, Mr. Chairman.
So it's also 2016,
Yes.
month of August. And then you said it was followed by the revelation coming from Colonel Las Cañas. Kailan po nangyari itong kay Colonel Las Cañas, which prompted you to conduct an investigation on dangerous drugs?
Yes, around February. Oh, no. Initially, ma'am, when he turned as a witness, he was just only revealing information about his involvement in extrajudicial killings. And that period was a very short period because immediately the DOJ fast-tracked cases against him, so we needed to get him out of the country at that time. So then we only got to find out about all this involvement in illegal drugs by Duterte himself when he started giving the information as an insider, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, I understand that you are associated with the former Senator De Lima. What is your appreciation about the seeming similar animosity of the former president against Senator De Lima?
It's the same, Mr. Chairman, because Senator De Lima, when she was still the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights, investigated Duterte for the EJ case in Davao. And according to the testimony of Mr. Matobato and eventually Mr. Las Cañas, Mr. Duterte was really bothered by that investigation. He really feared that he would be made to account for all the killings he did in Davao. So eventually, when the opportunity came, when he was president, he wanted to make a sample out of Senator De Lima so that it would create a chilling effect among the senators, and it was very effective. He totally fabricated the cases against Senator De Lima, and most of my colleagues in the Senate then feared that whatever is happening to Senator De Lima at the time could happen to them if they don't follow his lead or be an obstacle to his designs.
Senator Trillanes,
Apo.
with all due respect, but I share the observation of the Honorable Flores with respect to establishing the veracity of the evidence, should I say, that you shared before the Quad Committee. Nonetheless, Mr. Senator, I acknowledge the efforts of having consolidated all those, and at the very least, I maintain that at least it could establish the fact that you consolidated, you were able to read, you were able to take possession of all these documents that you presented before the Quad Committee. But to conclude, Mr. Senator,
Yes.
considering the amount and the evidence that you have presented to us, how certain are you that the Duterte family, particularly the former president, Polong, Congressman Polong, and the husband of the vice president are indeed involved in dangerous drugs?
I'm 100% sure, Mr. Chairman. These were corroborated by other sources of information. And I during our research, we were able to establish the background or the involvement of Mr. Pulong Duterte in smuggling cases independent of the testimony or information coming from Mr. Las Cañas. This is from the NBI and the Presidential Anti-Smuggling Group. And Mr. Las Cañas, again, as a witness, he was already, he went through the very rigorous process of being accepted as an ICC witness. He went through this weeks-long process of vetting and validation, and he checked out as the primary witness of the prosecution against Mr. Duterte. So, if these professional investigators and lawyers were able to check him out, then I would have to follow suit. So we would have our own ways of weighing testimonies or the truthfulness of witnesses before us, and I would have to say that he's way up there as a credible witness. But that's just coming from me. Now, the whole presentation I made is not to pin Mr. Duterte for these specific crimes, because I'm determined to pin him down through the ICC. And that's all I need. It's enough to put him away for life. But what I presented is to shatter that false narrative that he peddled to the Filipino people. Nagalit talaga siya sa illegal na droga. So, if you'd be able to research on this Minister of Defense in Mexico, who, like Duterte, galit na galit din sa illegal na droga, pumapatay din siya ng mga drug lords, pushers, only to be found out later that he was actually on the payroll of a preferred cartel. So the pattern is the same. Now, as for other witnesses, some of the lawyers here, members of the committee, kept on saying, what are the other evidence? What are the other evidence? So let us remember that the Duterte drug syndicate operated like a mafia. And similar to how mafias were destroyed, at least some of them in the US, isang whistleblower ang kanilang naging lead that took them to different pieces of evidence and witnesses. So yun po ang nakita kong value po kay Mr. Las Cañas.
Senator, one of the documents which you presented, should I say, or the information you shared, is about the huge amount of money received by the Duterte family,
Yes.
which, as alleged, came from drug money. Do you confirm this?
That is my conclusion, Mr. Chairman, because again, the way these syndicates operate, wala naman pong mga resibo ito, wala naman mga CCTV na makikita tayo. Ito po, circumstantial. Lahat po, because I cannot explain kung saan po nanggagaling itong pera na ito na pumapasok po periodically. Yun po, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, do you have any pending case against the Dutertes pertaining to this information about the bank deposits?
Meron po. I included that doon po sa aking plunder case na final way back in 2016. And as I mentioned, because of this plunder case that I filed in 2016, yun po ang naging basis ng overall Deputy Ombudsman then to request from the AMLAC documents, and that led him to issue that statement that the contents of the documents that I had are similar to the documents they got. So, sinasabi ko, hindi nanggaling itong dokumento ko sa AMLAC kasi nga po, bawal yon, pero the contents are the same. And that's all that matters to me as an investigator. Mr. Chairman.
Senator, please pardon me, but I'm a little bit confused.
Yes.
Because if you are alleging that the bank deposits are drug money,
Yeah.
then why plunder? Is it not that when we file a case of plunder, it should involve government funds?
Yes. Yun nga po yung sinasabi ko. Back in 2016, we were stuck in this paradigm na hindi siya involved sa illegal drugs. Kaya when the name of Sammy Uy was being flagged, we were assuming all sorts of things. Pero meron pong mga pumapasok doon, and ang information namin, part ng mga ginagamit na pera ni Mr. Duterte sa Davao is yung peace and order funds niya, which run into, at that time, around 730 million pesos per year. So similar to the pattern or what is used by the Vice President now. So meron silang ganong pondo. So that was the early assumption based on the existing paradigm at that time. Pero nung lumabas na si Mr. Sammy Uy ay involved pala sa illegal drugs as mentioned by Mr. Las Cañas, then it shifted. We revisited the bank accounts and concluded that these are drug money.
To clarify, Senator,
Yes.
you mean to say that when you filed the plunder case back in 2016,
Yeah.
your theory is that the money is government fund, particularly coming from the Peace and Order Program of
Yes.
Davao City? No,
Davao
that was
City.
2016.
No.
Davao City
Davao
LGU.
City. Yes, LGU.
And then along the way, here comes Las Cañas. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Which gave you this conclusion that this is drug money.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And this case is pending with the Ombudsman.
Yes.
Did you file any supplemental affidavit to correct this theory of your plunder case?
But by then, we only had the witness testimony of Mr. Las Cañas, who was already out of the country and cannot be used as supplemental evidence. But we still attached other pieces of evidence like the COA audit reports, which flagged the ghost employees of Mr. Duterte at the time.
With that COA, with all due respect,
Yes.
Senator, then you're going back again to the theory of government funds.
Yes.
So perhaps I need to rephrase my question. Did you initiate a separate complaint with the theory that this money is indeed a drug money?
No, Mr. Chairman, because I filed it back in 2016. It included the COA records, the documents, because we were working on that assumption back then, Mr. Chairman.
The reason why I am asking you, Senator, is because kanina po nung maaga pa, one of our challenges in the Quadcom investigation is how to be able to secure the freeze order. And one of the offenses punishable under the AMLA as predicate crime is violation of anti-dangerous drugs law. And I suppose that if you are intending to file an offense, a case under 9165, I wish to believe, and I'm inclined to believe, that you can solicit the help of the AMLA, perhaps to get a verified copy of the information which you are presenting are bank deposits.
Yes. Well, Mr. Chairman, the evidence I got for the illegal drug smuggling case only involved Pulong and Mansa Carpio. And I only have that information from Mr. Las Cañas, who is out of the country and inaccessible, Mr. Chairman.
Anti-money laundering. I just asked Senator
Yes.
my staff here to check if Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act is included among those offenses considered as predicate crime of violation of AMLA. So, having said so, they were able to verify that it is among the enumerations. So I
Yes.
believe that this is one possible ground for you to be able to secure a freeze order if you believe that this will help your cause against the Duterte family.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We're looking forward to the appointment of a new ombudsman so that we can pursue the 3 plunder cases that I filed against Duterte, Mr. Chairman. And unfortunately, when when the overall deputy ombudsman Karandang requested AMLAC precisely because it's included, the newly designated AMLAC executive director, who is a lackey of Mr. Duterte, stonewalled the ombudsman. Actually, a more combative ombudsman should have subpoenaed the AMLAC investigation report, but unfortunately they folded, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Trillanes. I have few more questions, Mr. Chair, for Mark Taguba. Let's give justice to his patience of staying. Mr. Taguba, do you confirm that you're the same Taguba who was convicted for smuggling of shabu?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you stand still with the statements that you have given in this judicial affidavit? I believe this is dated August 27, 2024. Ito po ba'y pinaninindigan nyo pa rin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Taguba, please walk us through. Bago po ba kayo na-involve dito sa kasong ito? Nasaan po kayo? Anong ginagawa nyo? Please start with EMT. What is EMT?
EMT trading, for Your Honor, is consignee for hire. So, pinagagamit nila yung consignee nila for a royalty fee. So, nakilala ko yung si Irene May Tatad dun sa kanyang parang ano yata niya, kapatid ba niya? Hindi ko na maalala sa kamag-anak niya.
Firstly, what does EMT stands for? It's an acronym, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
What does it stand for?
Hindi ko po alam eh.
I found names here which appear to be consistent with these initials. If you will confirm, does it stand for Irene, TJ, and Mark?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
But do you confirm that TJ and Irene used to be your partners?
TJ is my broker. I'm not a
Your?
Yes. We have hindi po ako broker kasi yun ang binabansag sa akin sa media na ako ay customs broker, nagpakilala akong customs broker. Ang negosyo ko po is talaga tracking. So, si TJ yung broker. Siya po talaga yung sign, siya po yung mas nakakaalam sa proseso sa customs.
TJ is the broker, you are the tracker.
Yeah.
Si Irene po.
Si Irene May Tatad naman, siya po yung consignee.
Do you work together?
Si TJ, kasi ano ko siya eh. Sa kanya ako nag-refer, nagtatanong. Pagka may nagtatanong sa akin na client tungkol sa mga parating nila, tatanong ko sa kanya. Si Irene naman, royalty fee lang talaga siya eh. So pinagamit niya yung kanyang consignee para sa royalty fee. Kada container na darating, meron siyang royalty fee.
So who owns this EMT trading?
Si Irene May Tatad po.
Si Irene.
Opo.
And then you and TJ just work with her, without necessarily being partners with that EMJ trading, EMT trading.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama po. In your affidavit, you made mention about this green lane, yellow lane, and red lane. I believe that in the previous hearings, Mr. Guban already testified on this. And I wish to hear if you have the same concept and information that you will share pertaining to these 3 lanes: green lane, yellow lane, and red lane.
Hindi ko po narinig yung sinabi niya. So, green lane yun, hindi na siya subject for inspection.
No physical inspection
No physical
and no document inspection
No
as well.
document inspection.
That is green lane.
Yellow lane, kung di po ako nagkakamali, sa ano lang, document lang. Tapos red lane, kailangan ng
Wait,
physical.
for yellow lane, you're exempted from the physical inspection, but you are not exempted from the document inspection.
Yes.
Okay?
Then, from red lane, kailangan na ng physical inspection.
And of course, if I am the shipper or the importer, I would want that my shipment be always released through the green lane. Kasi dun mabilis. Walang inspection ng shipment, walang inspection ng document. How do I avail of this green lane?
Ako po talaga, hindi ko yung paano talaga makapunta dito sa green lane. Pero nung time ko kasi, yun nga, nagbigay kami ng tama bang?
Are you saying, Mark, that you never experienced using this green lane?
Halos lahat po nung shipments ko, green lane po.
And that is because you submitted to the TARA system.
Yes.
Tama po ba?
Opo.
So, ibig sabihin for a time being, lahat ng mga pinaparelease mong shipment, walang physical inspection, walang document inspection, what is the consideration involved?
Yun po, may TARA system po sa BOC.
And how does TARA system work?
So, weekly, magbibigay ka kada container na re-release mo, napaparating mo.
Is
So,
it per container or per value of what is inside the container?
per container?
Per container.
Opo.
How much per container?
Iba-iba po kasi. So, iba-ibang
Iba-iba depending on?
iba-ibang departamento. So, nakalagay po dito yun. May mga text messages po ako. Mga
Yes,
screenshots.
you mentioned a lot of offices. Can you please enlighten us on this? Anong mga opisina kailangang magbigay? Tama ba yung tanong ko, Mark?
Opo.
And
So,
that is what TARA system is all about?
Yes, Your Honor. So,
What offices are you referring to here?
So, tinitignan ko po itong affidavit ko. Ito lang yung mga naalala ko. IG, ESS, Collector, CIIS. Alam ko na
You mentioned
ko
in
na-
paragraph 15 of your affidavit, MICP, SSPDC, COMSEN, CIIS, CIIS District, IPRD, IG, ESS, ESS District, FED, AOCG, and IAS. If you total the token that you will be giving to all these offices for one container, Mark, magkano yun?
May breakdown po kasi ako nito dati. Your
At
Honor,
least the approximate amount. Are you trying to tell us na kada office iba yung amount?
Yes, Your Honor, iba.
I see. But you can at least give us an approximate amount. The total amount that you give for one container to cover all these offices. I believe these are 11 or 12 offices.
Matagal na po kasi pero naalala ko po kasi lahat po kasi ng container ko uniform po yung ano niya eh. Yung
Flat rate.
binabayad. So, 170,000
Per container.
per container. So, kailangan ko pong, kasi kagabi lang po yung ano eh, yung, kagabi ko lang nalaman na pupunta ako dito. Nagulat po kasi ako.
I understand.
Hindi ako handa.
Can you give us an approximate number of containers na napaparating mo in a month?
Sa isang linggo, maabot ako ng 100 eh,
Wow.
na container.
That's 1 week only?
Opo.
So, if 170,000 per container and you have 100 containers for 1 week, how much is that? 17 million?
Mga ganun po. Hindi ko po pera yun. Hindi ko po pera yun. Kumbaga,
Yeah, I know.
nagpa-process lang naman ako eh.
But that's how huge
Opo, ganun po yung pumapasok na
the
pera.
amount the Tara system generate.
Opo.
Only for you to be able to avail of this green lane. Tama po ba?
Opo.
And I wish to emphasize that here you are, you're just one person facilitating the release.
Yes, Sir Honor.
Eh, mga ilan ho ba yung nagfa-facilitate ng release?
Marami po kami.
In a day, can you give us an approximate number? Ilan po yung nagfa-facilitate ng release?
Alam ko po, nagbigay rin si Senator Lacson ng kanyang sariling flowchart. So, based doon, parang, basta sobrang dami namin, siguro mga 500 containers sa mga ganun niya. Ang nakikita ko, sa base sa kanyang, nilabas na report sa isang linggo. Parang,
And of course, Mr. Taguba, you will agree with me if I would say that the Philippine government is losing a lot of money because of this green lane, because it deprives the government the opportunity to assess correctly the shipment or importation.
yes, Your Honor.
Tama?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I know that I have manifested this concern before during our, I believe, hearing on Dangerous Drugs Committee. But I wish to reiterate, Mr. Chair, that I believe it is high time we revisit the charter of the Bureau of Customs. Should I make a motion, Mr. Chair?
At the moment, I was informed that I think the Quintacom is looking into proposing some amendments into the charter of the Bureau of Customs. And if there are any observations or any information that we can share with the Quintacom, I guess the Quadcom will do that, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Taguba, you also mentioned in your affidavit that for quite some time, wala kang nare-receive na alert on your shipment. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I suppose that that is because of the TARA system to which you submitted yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, after some time, biglang nakaka-receive ka na ng alert.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, nagkakaproblema yung release ng mga shipment mo.
Yes, Your Honor.
What did you do?
Minsan, ang ginagawa lang nila yan para, kasi pagka may alert, pupunta ka sa kanila, aaregluhin mo. So, parang form lang ng additional na, bayad sa kanila.
Additional SOP?
Oo,
Tama
para
ba
lang
yun?
ma-release yung container. Parang lambing siguro, parang ganun yung lumalabas.
Ang mahal
Alert
naman
ka.
nila lumambing.
Oo.
They will annotate something on your document to
Opo.
make sure that you said that in your affidavit. They're leaving the number in your document to make sure that you call them
Yes,
so
Your
you
Honor.
will be able to settle whatever requirement is being asked of you. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then after some time, lalong tumindi yung problema mo. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
About facilitating the release of shipment. May kinausap kang tao. Sino itong mga taong ito?
Ang una ko pong nakausap po dito si Jojo Bacud.
Jojo Bacud.
Opo, nagpakilala po siya na sa SSPDC. Tapos pinakilala niya ako dun sa Davao Group. Sila Tita Nani nga. Yan, sila Jack, sila Noel. Silang apat yung mga minute ko. Sinabi
How many
nila,
times did you visit Davao City during the time that you're trying to seek help about the release of your shipment?
isang beses lang po.
Isang beses lang. And the purpose of you traveling to Davao City is what?
Kasi pinapunta nila ako dun eh.
For what
Wala
purpose?
na naman akong, sabi nila, kailangan ko raw magbigay ng tuition fee. Ganyan.
Tuition fee.
Yes. So, yun yung kanilang ginamit na word.
Tuition fee. And what is the purpose of this tuition fee?
Ayun, para ma-accept daw ako sa grupo nila. Tapos, every week, magbibigay ako sa kanila ng pera.
With your admission in this group that you are referring to, what representation did they give you in relation to the challenges that you are experiencing with regards to the release of your shipment?
Unang-una, nagbigay ako sa kanila. Nagpunta akong Davao, so binigay ko yung pera kay Small. So,
How much is that money?
5 million.
5 million. What is the
So-
purpose of you giving that 5 million to Small?
Yun yung sinabi nila sa akin, ibigay yung 5 million. Susunduin
Anong
ka dyan ni Jack.
kapalit? Anong kapalit ng 5 million na yon? Why are you giving Small 5 million?
Yun nga, para mapapasok na daw sa Davao Group, kasi kung hindi ka kasama sa kanila, i-alert nila yung mga containers mo. So, hindi ka makakapag-transaction sa Bureau of Customs. So, sa pagkakaintindi ko, lahat ng players ginawa yun. Kailangan
By lahat ng players, are you referring to all people who are engaged in facilitating release of shipment? Yun ba ibig
Oo,
sabihin mo?
Yung po mga pinakita ni Senator Lacson noon, sila Kimberly, yan, sila Teves, yan, sila Manny Santos, yung mga players yan eh. So, yun yung ibig ko sabihin, kailangan nilang magbigay doon sa Davao Group. Yun yung pagkakaintindi ko. Kasi kung parang sila na yung bagong customs eh. Kailangan sa kailangan dumaan lahat eh. Ginawa kasi nila, binago uli nila yung sistema, nagkaroon ng command center. So, parang sila na lang yung pwedeng mag-alert.
Nasaan po itong command center na binabanggit nyo?
Sa customs po yun.
Sa loob.
Oo, ginawa nilang, yun eh, nung time lang ni Fildon yun eh, ni Commissioner Fildon.
Is Commissioner Feldon still here? So you were saying they established this command center right inside the Bureau of Customs, which has the control over alerting whichever shipment they want?
Yes. Sila lang, pagkakaalala ko, sila lang yung nakakapag-alert na nun.
By sila, who are you referring to?
Yung command center, ComCen.
And who are these people behind this command center, Mr. Taguba?
Nakalimutan ko na yung... Na-invite din siya sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee nun eh. Nakalimutan ko na yung pangalan niya eh.
If this is an ordinary person, I suppose that she will not be able to do that without somebody who's a big person behind him. Tama pa po ba? Papasok ka ng Bureau of Customs, magtatayo ka ng command center, and then you will have the control to alert the shipments coming into the port. Tama po ba? Somebody must be behind him.
Yes, Your Honor. Pero pagkakaalam ko, sila Commissioner Fildon yung gumawa nun eh. Parang hindi naman siya, parang legal na, sa legal, meron bang yun eh.
You cannot
Sa
tell
batas,
whether it is
oo.
legal or illegal.
Yes. Kasi yung ibang yung mga IG, EG, medyo humina na yung authority nila dahil nga yung command center na lang yung nagko-control ng mga alerts.
I see. And after this payment of 5 million to Small, ano pong nangyari na doon sa mga transaction nyo? Sa shipment nyo sa BOC?
So, noong una naayos siya, maganda. Nagkaroon uli ng problema, tapos ni-refer na naman nila ako, itong sila Tita Nani, pinakilala naman nila ako doon kay Big Brother. Yun nga, si Allen Capuyan, nakamit ko siya. So, yun, pinakilala nila ako sa kanya. Siya na raw ang bagong under ko na naman. So, hindi na rin ako sigurado sa ginagawa nila, pero nung kay Big Brother naman, naayos din yung shipment. Hanggang sa dumating naman yung problema na ito, yung kinakaharap ko ngayong kaso, na nangyaring raid sa Valenzuela. Ayun, doon na po natapos yung...
Are you referring to the 604 kilogram of shabu?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that is the reason why are you convicted already? Convicted?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see. May we know ilang taon po ba naging sentensya nyo?
Sinintensyahan po ako ng life.
Oh Lord. Life sentence. And that is equivalent to 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Tama, Honorable Flores? How old are you, Mr. Taguba?
33 na po.
33. How long have you been in prison?
6 years.
6 years. Ibig sabihin, nag-umpisa ka makulong 27 years old.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama. And if we can bring back those days, anong gagawin mo to be able to avoid this very sad fate that you're going through right now?
Siguro hindi ko na pinasok sana tong ano.
Sana sa iba ka na lang nagtrabaho, ano?
Opo. Pero,
is that your honest belief? Sana sa iba ka na lang nagtrabaho?
Yes. At
you are so young.
Tsaka very unfair yung nangyari talaga sa na-convict ako na ganito.
Okay, let us hear you. Why are you saying that this is very unfair?
Unang-una, lokohan lang yung kaso. Nung nag-imbestiga sa NBI, preliminary investigation, lahat po nung dinaanan ng kargamento, kinasuhan. So hanggang sa pinakataas, hanggang sa pinakababa. So ang kaso sa amin is conspiracy. Pero nagawa nila ng paraan na pwedeng conspiracy nga siya, pero matatanggal yung mga matataas na tao, tulad nila Commissioner Fildon, at kami may iwan. So, inilaban namin sa korte yun na bakit ganon. Ang naging ano ko nang laman, partisipasyon is nagproseso ng dokumento at may tracking, nideliver dun yung container. So, sabi ng korte, hindi kailangan na alam mo yung laman, no? Kasi mala prohibita. Okay? So, paano naman yung iba? Yung mga shipping lines, lahat-lahat, mga examiner. So, nagawa nila ng paraan, parang legal acrobatics, di ba? Na kabilang yung tamaan. Na dapat hindi. No? So, pero ngayon, nilalabanan pa rin namin sila ng patas. So,
do you have a pending appeal?
May apela po kami.
It's with the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court already?
Motion po kami ng inhibit. Nung tinamaan po ako, nag-inhibit po kami doon sa judge. Tapos, para ibang judge yung mag-decide ng motion for reconsideration.
So, it's still with the Court of Origin. Nasa Regional Trial Court pa rin. May
Yes, sir.
pending motion for reconsideration. Tapos, pinailan nyo ng motion for inhibition yung presiding judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, you believe that you were not able to get a fair decision.
Yes,
During
very,
the
very
hearing.
unfair.
Oo. May we know, Mr. Taguba, who were originally indicted bago na-exclude yung sinasabi mo from the case. How many were you? Ilan kayo yung original na nakahabla?
Napakarami po namin eh. Kasi naalala ko noon, no, nasa NBI pa kami, nag-presenta doon sa preliminary investigation. Ang dami po namin nagbibigay ng affidavit. Nandoon po sila Commissioner Fildon, nandoon po sila Neil Estrella, Joel Pinawin. So, sabi ko nga, conspiracy, dapat lahat kami acquitted kung lahat. Kung acquit, kung ano naman, kung convict, di dapat convicted kami lahat. Kasi ganun eh, lahat ng dinaanan ng container. So, nagawa nila ng paraan na kami lang ang makasuhan.
Mr. Taguba, ito bang sinasabi mo marami kami na hinabla? Were you represented by one lawyer only? Or you have different lawyers?
Iba-ibang lawyer po.
Iba-iba?
Opo.
Ibig sabihin yung defenses nyo, iba-iba din.
Opo.
Depende sa strategy ng mga lawyers na humawak sa inyo, no?
Opo.
And can you please name names of those who were included in the charge, the prominent ones? Sino po yung mga kilalang tao aside from Commissioner Faeldon na nasama doon sa habla?
Hindi ko na po maalala lahat pero si Commissioner Fildon yung pinaka tumatak sa akin noon. Tsaka sila Neil Estrella, tsaka si Joel Pinawin.
These are all BOC officials?
Yes, Your Honor.
And upon conviction, sinong kasama mo na lang?
Ako, si Irene, tsaka si Kenneth, tapos yung bodigero.
So there were 4 of you
Yes.
who were convicted. Bodigero, the tracker, the broker, and the other one is the facilitator of your document. Kasama ba si Irene?
Yes, Your Honor.
And all the BOC officials were excluded from the charge.
Yes, Your Honor. At tsaka, tingin ko yun din yung dahilan. Kaya, siyempre, pag lumalabas sa balita, laging customs broker Mark Taguba. So, sa mga hindi nakakaintindi, siyempre, pagka narinig mo yung customs, may tinamaan na tatrabaho sa customs. So, gumagana yung natin, justice system natin.
Walang BOC official na nakasama.
Wala, kahit isa.
All of you were private individuals.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who was able to apprehend this shipment? Sino pong nakahuli nito?
Ang nakahuli nito, nakakatawa po kasi yung warehouse po, si Chen Julong, may-ari po noon, wala na po ata sa bansa eh. Kasi hindi po siya nakakulong, hindi po siya nakulong kailanman. Ang nanghuli po nito, sila Neil Estrella, sila Commissioner Fildon, tsaka sila Joel Pinawin. Meron po silang litrato ni Chen Julong na parang body-body lang sila nung nag-raid sila doon. Hindi nila hinuli nung nag-raid sila doon. Yung si Chen Julong. Ang nangyari, tinuro kami kahit wala naman talagang prueba o ebidensya na magtuturo sa akin. So, ako ang nadiin.
Sino si Kenneth Dong?
Si Kenneth Dong po, yung isa sa kliyente ko po. Siya po yung sa akin nung mag-process ng container na yon, MCLU 600-1881.
So if Kenneth Dong is the one who approached you to process the release of this container, who is the owner of that container?
Siyempre nung unang pagkakaalam ko po si Kenneth Dong kasi nga siya yung kausap ko eh. So, nung pumutok na po itong balita, nagkaroon ng raid sa Valenzuela, tsaka ako nalaman na, ayun nga, ang dami po lang layer. So, si Chen Julong, tapos may Manili pa, tapos kung ano-ano pa eh. So, hindi ko alam talaga kung sinong may-ari nung container. Sinasabi niya si Manili. Si Manili naman may ibang tinuturo Hindi ko alam kung kanino talaga yung container, ma'am.
But you were saying that the shipment was seized during the time that it was already in the warehouse.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who owns the warehouse?
Si Chen Julong.
Mr. Taguba, you likewise mentioned in your affidavit Pulong Duterte,
Yes, Your Honor.
you did, and Manscarpio.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you please enlighten us? Why did you mention these two names in your affidavit?
Actually, Your Honor, ang nagme-mention naman yan, yung mga personalidad na sinabi ko, sila Tita Nani and sila Jack, na ayun nga, si Pulong Duterte ang mag-aayos nung magbibigay ako ng pera sa kanila. Si Manscarpio, nababanggit din nila kasi pupunta rin sa BOC, nag-aayos din ng mga alerts. So, sa kanila po galing yan. Wala naman akong dahilan para itong mga taong to, sila Paulo Duterte at si Manscarpio. Nanggaling po yun kila Tita Nani sa Davao Group. Yung kay Small Abellera rin po, half-truth yung sinabi niya. Hindi niya sinabi na niya na nakita kami. Pero hindi niya sinabi na kinuha niya yung 5 milyon at yun, sabi niya, dinala niya kay Pulong. Hindi niya sinabi yun. So, sinabi lang niya, tinanggihan ako. Wala pong katotohanan yun kinuha niya yung pera So, kaya nga nagkaroon ng green lane, kaya nga uniform lahat ng taxes So, siguro naman hindi mangyayari yun kung hindi totoo. Wala rin naman po akong kakayahan. Hindi naman po ako nagtatrabaho sa BOC. Hindi ko naman alam po yung kung anong ginagawa nila dyan sa computer para mangyari yun. So, wala po akong kakayahan kung ako lang po. So, ang akin lang, nagbigay ako dahil gusto ko lang makapagtrabaho.
Your personal appreciation, Mr. Taguba, who among those several indicted ang naniniwala kang involved talaga dyan sa 604 kilogram of shabu contained in the metal cylinder? Do you believe that Commissioner Faeldon is involved?
Wala po akong personal knowledge sa mga ganyan Kasi
In other words, to this date, wala kang alam kung sino talagang may-ari.
Wala po. Kasi nga po, yung pag-raid nila doon, kalokohan nga po Ni-raid nila, kinuha nila yung na-assist nila yung shabu, pero wala po silang kinasuhan. Yung warehouse, yung may-ari ng warehouse, hanggang ngayon, wala. Ewan kung nasa na siya, nasa China na raw o ano.
But do you know for a fact that there were shabu which were seized during the time?
Yes, sinabi kasi nabalitaan ko sa TV. So, tapos biglang tumawag sa akin si Kenneth Dong. Sabi niya, oy, may mga na-seize na shabu doon daw sa container na pinrocess natin yung nanggaling. So, syempre, nagulat ako. Tapos, ayun, yun na doon nagsimula yung yung problema.
Mr. Taguba, I can feel your agony, and if the owner of that shipment is listening to you, would you like to give a message to him?
Oh.
Kahit hindi natin alam kung sino ang may-ari niyan to this date, you lost already 6 years of your life. You're so young. You haven't lived your life to the fullest, and yet you are in that situation.
Napakahirap po talaga. Kasi tingin ng mga tao sa akin. Drug lord ako. Nung unang punta ko sa RDC, tinanong ko sa akin ng mga gumagawa nun dun kung pwede ba ako mag-supply sa kanila. Sabi ko, wala po talaga akong kinalaman dyan. Ang hirap mo. Buti sana kung ginawa ko talaga eh. Ang hirap po talaga. Kung meron man akong kasalanan, yun po yung sa TARA system. Totoo naman po lahat yun. Nagsabit po ako sa simula pa lang ng Senate hearing. Nag-cooperate na ako. Nag-request pa ako ng executive session. Binigyan pa ako ng Sergeant at Arms. Yung mga nilabas si Senator Lacson noon, hindi ko naman po kilala si Senator Lacson eh. Sarili niyang investigasyon yun eh. Mga nilabas siyang flowchart. Yun lang naman ang kasalanan ko. Di kasuhan nila ako tungkol doon. Pero hindi ako kailanman nagkaroon ng kahit anong kaso tungkol sa bribery. Kahit perjury nga lang, hindi nila ginawa eh. Siguro dahil takot sila. Palibasa, pinagte-text nila ako eh. Lahat ng text ko, binigay ko sa Senator Lacson. Pinaforensics pa niya sa Camp Crame. Meron pa akong certificate doon. Pero yung shabu, hindi ko po talaga ginawa yan. Hindi ko po gagawin yan kailanman.
Mark, you mentioned in your affidavit that you applied to become a state witness. When was this?
Nung na-mention ko po kasi si Pulong, dati, credible witness pa po ako eh. Para sa kanila. Bago-bago pa siya na-mention. So, nung na-mention ko siya, sa hindi inaasahang pagkakataon dahil sa Congress yun, bata pa po ako nung at sabi nyo nga, hindi ko naman alam i-handle yung situation na yun. So, nabanggit ko siya. Lahat ng pangaharas ginawa nila sa akin. Tinanggalan pa ako ni Senator Gordo ng Sergeant at Arms. Pagkatapos kong pagtuturo lahat ng mga taga-BOC na tumatanggap ng TARA sa akin. So parang pinabayaan na niya ako para mamatay. So nag-request ako kay Attorney Fortune na pakisabi na lang na mag-press conference na humihingi ako ng tawad kay Vice Mayor noon na Pulong Duterte. So pagkatapos noon, so yun yung parang tingin ng tao na nag-recant ako, hindi nila alam yung totoong nangyari na grabe pangharas sa amin. Pati nanay ko balak nilang patayin. So, the day after yata nun, tumawag hindi ako nagkakamali, kinontak niya si Attorney Raymond Fortune, kinontak ni Senator Lacson para pumunta sa opisina niya sa BGC. Tapos nung nandun kami, tinanong niya ako bakit ginawa ko yun. Sinabi ko nga dahil puro nga mga death threat yung natatanggap ko. So, tapos tinanggalan pa ako Sergeant at Arms. Sabi niya sa akin, tutulungan niya mabalik yung Sergeant at Arms ko. At baka pwede rin mailagay akong state witness. So, naibalik yung Sergeant at Arms ko nun. Pero yung state witness, hinarang ni Senator Gordon. Kaya ngayon, walang nakasuhan na customs, ako lang ang nakasuhan. Ang kinonvict nila sa akin na kaso itong drugs na to, na wala talaga akong kinalaman. Yung mga bagay na may mga ebidensya, yung ginawa namin ng presentation ni Senator Lacson noon, yun yung mga taong walang kaso. Mga na-promote pa, narinig ko kay dito, kay Jimmy. So, ganun yung naging justice dito sa Pilipinas. Yun yung nangyari sa amin.
Is it not that the reason why your application for state witness was denied is because you recanted your statement against Pulong Duterte and Mans Carpio? Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chairman, just an interjection, just full disclosure. Mr. Mark Taguba is a witness, one of the witnesses in my illegal drug smuggling case against Mr. Pulong Duterte and Small Abilera and the others. And right now,
Where is that pending, Senator?
it's pending with the DOJ.
see.
It's still pending.
It's due for preliminary investigation yet.
Yes, ma'am. And as for his status as for the inclusion in the witness protection program, it's also pending, Mr. Chairman, and right now I got word from his lawyer that he is receiving threats right now from some people involved in the case, and that's why I'm going to plead on his behalf that he would be temporarily transferred into the detention facility of the House of Representatives, just so we can protect him, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. Anyway, Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Paduano.
the manifestation of former Senator Trillanes with regards to the request. No, I also personally talked to Mark Taguba just a few minutes ago. Mr. Chairman, we will just discuss it on the admin matters. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Liwanagin ko lang, Mr. Chair. Of course, you testified before the Senate, no? Where you implicated Pulong Duterte and Mans Carpio. That is your first testimony.
In first testimony po sa Senate,
Yeah. Tama ba? That is your first testimony.
ang first testimony ko po sa Senate, yung para system po.
Yeah. But when did you start implicating Pulong Duterte and Mans Carpio?
Sa Congress na po yun. Congressional hearing.
Oh. So there was an investigation also with the HOR.
Yes.
Okay.
I cleared it.
And then, after experiencing all those harassments that you mentioned, you recanted what you said before the House of Representatives.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama. So this will be your third.
Third.
And as far as the implication of Pulong Duterte and Mans Carpio are concerned, this is your third testimony.
Your Honor, as far as I'm concerned, wala naman nagbago dito sa sinabi ko dito. Sa
Yeah.
iba.
But there, you mentioned having recanted what you said in the first investigation because you're experiencing already a lot of harassments. Tama ba yun?
Rika, wala po akong nirecant sa affidavit ko na kila Pulong Duterte po ba?
In other words, your testimony has been similar to this since the HOR investigation until your application as state witness was denied. And
Yes.
up to this time that you're appearing before the Quad. Wala nagbabago.
Wala pong nagbago, Your Honor.
I understand. Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Trillanes.
I was part of those who investigating in the Senate, and he, during that press conference, he just apologized to Pulong Duterte. He never recanted, and we clarified that in his next appearance in the Senate, Mr. Chairman, whether he is recanting anything from his earlier testimony. He replied in the negative, Mr.
I have nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para sa mga susunod na video updates. Maraming salamat po.